In Chapter 3, we will focus on achieving competitive advantage with information systems. Porter's model is the best known model of competitive advantage. The model provides a nice summary of the strategic situation of firms in a larger business environment. The model focuses on industry structure, or the environment of the firm, as the main determinant of management decisions about corporate strategies. Managers just don't make up strategies out of thin air. They look at the competitive situation in their industry and then consider ways of coping and succeeding in that environment. In Porter's competitive forces model, the strategic position of the firm and its strategies are determined not only by competition with its traditional direct competitors, but also by four forces in the industry's environment: new market entrants, substitute products, customers, and suppliers. Information systems often play a critical role in defining and achieving strategic objectives of the firm. Sometimes IS is tangential. Coca-Cola, for instance, is not an intense technology user and maintains its differentiated product through marketing and branding efforts. Other firms are intensely using IS to achieve competitive advantages, from Walmart to Facebook, Amazon, and Google. The first step in using information systems to serve your firm is to make sure the IS objectives are lined up with the business objectives. In the physical retail industry, including groceries, the keys to success are efficiency in moving product through your pipeline, minimizing inventory and time delays between the receipt of the goods and the customer purchase. Large regional and national grocery chains like Kroger's, Walmart, ShopRite, Safeway, and Publix are competing directly with Amazon by offering online ordering and home delivery using their local stores as warehouses. Can you think or attempt to make a list of companies that have really unique products or services? There may be a really unique pizza store, theater, or restaurant, either in your neighborhood at home or around the area, that illustrate the point about product differentiation as a competitive strategy. Can you think of web stores that appeal to a very small niche market? So, for instance, people with unique hobbies, special interests, or different political and cultural views. Etsy might be a good example to take a look at. Can you describe and think about firms that you believe really care about the customer or offer great customer service? If it proves challenging for you, think about companies with really poor customer service. Everybody knows a really poor customer service organization. Think about how IS could help improve the relationship with the customer. Porter's industry analysis is not the only competitive strategy model. In the business chain, really a process model, for business process model, firms achieve competitive advantages by being more efficient. This does not mean more low priced. The gains from efficiency may be retained by the firm as greater profits, depending on the competitive situation. For instance, Walmart adopted a business value chain model to achieve the lowest prices, but not so low as to report lower profits. This figure provides examples of systems for both primary and support activities of a firm and its value partners that would add a margin of value to a firm's product or services. Think about how you might describe the business value chain in a business where you work now, or maybe in the past, or maybe that of a family member. Then, think about how information systems were used in each step of that value chain. The phenomenon where several firms cooperate with one another in order to put together for the customer a single product or service goes by many names. At times, it has been referred to as the extended firm, the virtual firm, the contract firm, and so on. To a large extent, business firms have always been dependent on their suppliers, logistic partners like trucking and railroads, and distributors, including retailers. But in the internet age, this kind of dependence and coordination takes place much more broadly and continuously. A small internet company often works with a design firm thousands of miles away, a software firm on a different continent, and sells its products using Google's AdWord program. The customer receives a single product or service, which was co-produced by many firms working together closely. The value web is a networked system that can synchronize the value chains of business partners within an industry to respond rapidly to changes in supply and demand. Other competitive strategies models don't focus on business processes and value chains, but instead focus on the core competencies of a firm. Most times, we don't think about what firms are really good at, but the idea is for the firm to focus on what it really does well, better than anyone else, and to succeed by being the most efficient producer of best quality products and services. At the very least, firms should not be involved in a host of businesses where they are at best mediocre players. The role of IT in these models of competition is usually as a tool for achieving best-in-class products and services. This can include using IT as a collaboration tool, coordinating tool, and knowledge aggregator or store for the firm so that knowledge can be widely shared. Network competitive strategies focus usually on internet opportunities and companies. Here, the emphasis is on products or services that can go viral. That is, take advantage of the fact that there are millions of people online, and if they generate positive messages about your product, in a few hours, several million people will know about it. That explains why some services like X, Facebook, and YouTube have grown with true hockey stick curves. Another different network strategy is to use the internet to find partners and collaborators who can magnify the power of your smaller firm. Many technologies throughout history have been disruptive in the sense that their use produces superior products and services at a fraction of the cost. Think of Gutenberg's printing press. Certainly, automobiles were a disruptive technology 100 years ago, which completely eliminated the buggy industry. The internet is no different in rendering certain industries obsolete and unable to compete. Can you think of industries that have been disrupted by the internet? Certainly one of the more disruptive impacts of the internet has been to spread jobs out across a world labor market, with industrial jobs moving to the lowest wage countries. In the past, communication barriers were so severe that it would be impossible to coordinate product and service development in both the US and China or India. Today, with instant internet communications from email, chat, video cameras, the cost of operating globally has fallen, and even small firms work on a global basis today. Apple designs the iPhone in the US and relies on suppliers in the US, Germany, Italy, France, and South Korea for parts. Final assembly occurs in China. There are a lot of ways to set up a global information system. Much depends on the type of company. Most companies today have large data centers spread around the world to handle their information needs on a regional basis. Some are more centralized than others. Generally, the trend was to allow regions considerable autonomy, but this strategy backfired as firms sought the efficiencies of a single global product, service, and database. Today, the trend is towards centralized global systems for financial results and supply chain coordination, and local or regional systems for customer-facing activities. The large axes show the dominant patterns, and the small axes show the emerging patterns. For instance, domestic exporters rely predominantly on centralized systems, but there is continual pressure and some development of decentralized systems in local marketing regions. Most of the electronic products we use today are global, in the sense that their design, production, and distribution take place across nearly all continents. Even automobiles increasingly are global collections of parts and subassemblies. Surely one strategy is to produce the highest quality product or service and charge accordingly. Information systems historically have played a key role in the quality movement by enabling the measurement of quality and helping managers model and optimize business processes. The overall customer experience is what firms are now concentrating on. This slide lists some of the more common ways IS has played a central role in the quality movement. If your company has the most efficient, highest quality process that result in few errors, you have a competitive advantage. However, the advantage can disappear pretty quickly as your competition catches up, and they will catch up. One answer is a continuous, incremental improvement process that is ongoing and results in your processes always being at the leading edge. A significant point to constantly keep in mind is that you can't just plug in computers and expect miracles. You need to think about your business processes and figure out how to improve, and then figure out how IT can help improve the processes even further. The flowchart shows a customer and a clerk as the major actors involved in the purchasing process. And so the process is depicted as follows. The customer goes to the bookstore. The customer searches shelves for the book, asks the clerk if the book is available. If the clerk says yes, the customer purchases the book. The customer takes the book home. If clerk says no, he or she searches for the book once. If he finds it, customer purchases the book. If he does not find it, the clerk inquires about ordering. If the clerk is not able to order, the customer goes to another store. If the clerk is able to order, the clerk places order. Clerk receives the book, notifies the customer returns to the store, purchases the book, and finally takes the book home. Using internet technology makes it possible to redesign the process for purchasing a book so that it only has a few steps and consumes fewer resources. Competing on business processes almost always means simplifying the process, reducing the number of people involved, reducing the decision time, expanding the remaining employees' job responsibilities, and using information systems to speed the flow and quality of information. The flowchart here shows the first step in the process is Access Online Store. It leads the customer to search the online catalog. If the response to book available is yes, then the customer is required to enter order and payment data and receive the book in the mail. If the response to book available is no, then the customer is required to select other online bookstore. Re-engineering was at one point a highly regarded approach to high-speed, dramatic change in business firms. It often resulted in profound simplification of antiquated business processes, resulting in severe disruptions to the workforce, which was decimated by layoffs. Most grand re-engineering efforts did not produce the promised results or produce results in very limited areas of the firm, which had little impact on overall efficiency and productivity. Today, industry and firm restructuring generally takes place through the impact of global markets on firms and less by a planned form of social change. We'll look forward to seeing you for Chapter 4.